Hey y'all, it's Melanie coming to you from the Outer Banks-ish, North Carolina. I am currently driving a couple hours north to go visit my friend who's been in the hospital for a little while, and I'm finally super excited to go and visit him and bring him a little bit of joy, because that's what I do. I start every time I see him, I'm like, what's up, Buttercup? And so his journey and story is for a different day. I started this video telling his story and journey, but I'm gonna just tell what happened today and why I am giving this video. And as I do this video, there's a license plate ahead of me that says either love to smile or live to smile. It's LV2 smile. And that person is like, that's who I am. Like, I want to smile and brighten people's days. And I've kind of always been like that. My dad was the one, as dark as things got with him sometimes, he was definitely the one to teach me to brighten other people's days, because you never know what people are going through. And so, with that said, we're going to segue into the next portion, which is what I learned today at church. We were looking into 2 Peter in the Bible, and it's a letter written from Paul. And he's talking about how to live a righteous life and how to pinpoint and identify false teachers and false prophets and people like who you shouldn't follow, and then who you should follow to like better yourself. And the pastor was giving the sermon, and he got about 3/4 of the way through, and he stopped. He goes, I need everybody to stand, bow your head, and close your eyes. And he goes, I just got the message that there's somebody out here who doesn't want to live tomorrow. Those weren't his exact words, but they were close. That somebody wants to take their life. And he's like, I want everybody to keep your eyes closed for their privacy. He goes, if you have been feeling that way, I want you to raise your hand so that I know who you are, so I can pray for you individually and just really pray for you. And I believe in prayer. It's powerful stuff. And so we're all quiet and we all have our heads bowed. And I had this push to share my testimony, but I didn't. I was scared. But we prayed and we finished up the sermon. And I went to the pastor's wife and pastor, and I said, thank you for doing that today. I am a survivor of suicide. I was fully medicated, going to psychiatry, going to this, doing all the things I was supposed to be doing, and I still was suicidal. And I want to thank you for sharing this to let people know that it's okay and they're not alone and that there's people there for them. And he goes, yeah, I couldn't believe the people that put their hands up. I had no idea what bravery that took on those people to raise their hands in that state of darkness. But at least they had their foot in the church, because like I was in that darkness with nothing, so they at least have that step up. But he said it spanned all ages, even to like some older 70-year-old guy. And there were 7 people that raised their hands. That's like so sad to think that 7 out of maybe 100 people, maybe, have those thoughts and are feeling so bad about themselves and their life situation, no matter what it is. 7 people. But the thing that blew me away the most, and maybe it was a message from God, it was the thought that came to mind. 7 people standing in a church. Yo, they already believe in God if they're there. There's some kind of conversation happening with God to get them in the church in the first place. Number 1. So they've already got that going for them. Not only are you there with some kind of relationship talking to God, you are amongst a community of people that do work very hard not to judge. I can't say that for everybody, but most of the people don't judge. Most of the people love you no matter what, and most of those people just want to help you. That blew me away, that there were 7 people that are feeling that way even in that kind of an environment. I said to my husband, could you imagine how many people would answer that if given the opportunity in the grocery store? Just everyday people that don't believe in God. How many people in the post office, or like all over throughout our days, in a hospital? How many people do you think would say, I'm feeling that bad? And that was absolutely heartbreaking to me. Absolutely heartbreaking. When I felt those feelings and when I heard those voices telling me what to do to myself, it was ugly. It was just, Mel, get rid of yourself. You're a burden to everybody. You're a problem. You've always been a problem. Just kill yourself. The world will be a better place. That actually was told to me, and that actually embedded in my brain for decades, guys. That was told to me by another 16-year-old girl. That stuff doesn't go away. And it's very hard. It can eventually. Like, I don't ever feel that way anymore. Walking with Jesus has changed my life, transformed it 100%. But those thoughts stayed with me until I found that relationship with Jesus. That's true. The voices would tell me I was a burden, and if I left, everybody could move on with their lives. If I was no longer there and I was no longer a problem, everybody else could go live their lives freely, and I was the one holding everybody back. Y'all, that's the devil. That's the devil, that's demons, that's darkness. Like, why would God make you, create you, and put you here to just be like, yeah, you suck, get out. I don't want you anymore. It's so sad that that's where our society is these days. It's so sad that that's what we've been led to believe. And it's so sad that I have to like put my phone down to drive past people. But it's so sad to have so many people in that state of brokenness that they want to do that to themselves. And so I want to encourage you today, if you're feeling that brokenness, I want to encourage you today to listen to this as many times as you need to listen to this. You have a purpose, even if you can't see it right now. And I couldn't see it all those years ago. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't see it. I couldn't feel it. I was in the depths of hell every day. And if I knew what I would become, if I knew the person that I would transform into, I would have never had those thoughts. But when you're there in that dark pit of hell, just know that you have a purpose and a meaning too. You deserve to be here. You are not a burden to your friends or your family. I thought back today, like, what would my children's life have looked like if their mother disappeared from it forever? It's a good question, right? What would my husband's life look like if I disappeared forever? I encourage you to tell yourself that you love yourself. I encourage you to tell yourself that God loves you. I encourage you to find a church. Just start somewhere and don't be alone. I encourage you by telling you you're not the only one that feels that way, as evidenced by today. And as somebody that at the time was a mother of 3 young girls, my youngest had just turned 2, my oldest wasn't 5 yet. I had 3. I was supposedly lost. I was lost. I was definitely lost. According to every doctor, every nurse, every medical professional that saw me and came across my case, I wasn't gonna fix myself. I was gonna be like that the rest of my life. And God has now made me a caregiver for somebody else. God has made me a caregiver for 3 children, and God has made me a caregiver of my husband. And God has made me a caregiver of community. Like, I care about our community, and I tell people the truth that I know it to be, and I inform people to the best of my ability about the atrocities that are going on behind the scenes in this country and the intentions behind the food industry and the pharmaceutical industry and the medical industry. I know that I am changing lives by doing that. And I wouldn't have been able to do that if I took my own life. I encourage you today to stay here. And even if it's just for today, that's good. And then tomorrow I encourage you to do the same. And I encourage you to go outside, no matter where you live. I don't care if it's the ugliest trailer park and you live in a trailer down by a nasty little river. I was there. I want you to go find a flower. It's spring, guys. Go find a flower. Go find a leaf. Go find a tree trunk with all of the tiny little grooves in it. Go find a squirrel. Go outside. Go the F outside and find yourself something to look at that God made and created. And just find that little bit of beauty. Go see a sunrise, go see a sunset. It's free and it's gorgeous and it'll change your life if you choose to let it. So with all that said, I'm gonna peace out of here. I'm gonna get back to driving my car. And I hope you all have a great day. Peace, love, and God bless, my friends. Adios.